You wake up tired, push through tired, and go to bed tired. Somewhere along the way, you decided the fatigue is about you, discipline, character, adulthood. The world encourages that story. If you just added one more habit, one more app, one more routine, you'd be fine. Welcome to Fog of Work. Here's the quiet truth. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because modern life runs smoother when you're never fully rested. A tired person is easier to sell to, schedule, and measure, and less likely to resist. If exhaustion were a bug, the system would have fixed it. The fact it persists suggests it's a feature. Seeing the machinery changes the question from "what's wrong with me?" to "who benefits from this arrangement?" That shift opens doors. It turns shame into strategy. Exhaustion is efficient. Tired people say yes to late meetings, yes to temporary sacrifices that never end, and yes to default choices designed by someone else. Switching tools feels daunting. Canceling subscriptions is deliberately annoying. Limited time offers prey on decision fatigue. The more depleted you are, the more predictable your choices become, and predictability is profitable. Workplaces tap the same logic. When fatigue is normal, leadership can tolerate constant urgency because someone always absorbs it. Heroes get praised, systems don't improve. The culture moves from one frantic save to the next, spending human energy like it's disposable. Let's follow the spending to the first leak: the night. Sleep is a runway, not a switch. Modern life shortens the runway. Screens glow a little longer. Alerts hop the fence you tried to build around bedtime. A headline whispers, "Worry about tomorrow." The brain stays half ready just in case. The city hums, streetlights through curtains, furnace thrum, a door down the hall, an early delivery. Nothing catastrophic, everything stimulating. You can log 8 hours and still meet morning with a brain that never fully powered down. It feels like you slept next to a conversation you weren't invited to. The day hasn't started. You're already behind. That handoff feeds the next drain. Attention kept slightly on all day. Every ping promises relief and leaves a tab open in your head. Multitasking is sold as a skill. In practice, it's rapid switching with a toll booth. Focus pays the toll. Energy pays the toll. You end days surrounded by half-finished thoughts, like a kitchen after a party. Nothing terrible, everything unfinished. Status lights, typing bubbles, quick 5 minutes, erase the edges of a day. Reachability becomes a proxy for value. Constant partial attention is the most expensive state to maintain. Never fully on, never fully off. Idling high with nowhere to go. Flat, fragmented work feels unsatisfying, which makes you crave stimulation, which fractures attention more. The loop tightens. And when time is sliced thin, real work retreats to margins. Enter calendars, context switching, and the invisible weight of admin. Invites are easy to send and awkward to refuse. Decisions that could be made asynchronously sprawl into recurring meetings. 30-minute blocks carve the day into confetti. Gaps too small for depth, too large to feel efficient. Tools multiply. Chat, email, docs, dashboards, trackers, drives. Each is lightweight, but switching isn't. Every switch reloads the mental model. The names, the rules, the why. Reload enough times and you're drained at 5 p.m. on a day where nothing big happened. Something big did. Your attention was carried back and forth across a canyon. Meanwhile, paperwork hides inside apps, benefits, expenses, approvals, trainings, password resets. None of it is dramatic. All of it requires context shifts and tiny decisions. Relentless beats dramatic. Relentless wins. Metrics promise clarity and sometimes deliver it until the number becomes the goal. Then, craft becomes a climb. Charts must always rise. You can hit the metric and miss the point. That disconnect is draining because the finish line keeps moving. Cultures glorify heroics, the all-nighter, the weekend rescue. Hero stories are adrenaline shots that distract from under-designed systems. Under-design guarantees more emergencies. Emergencies consume energy, whether or not the fire was real. Add urgency language, ASAP, EOD, escalation, and everything becomes an alarm. Real urgency deserves priority. Manufactured urgency devours focus that should go to thoughtful work. Let's pause and take stock before we map the rest of the drains. If this is landing, you're not alone. Fog of work names the machinery, explains the incentives, and clears the fog so you can see your day again. If this helps, like and subscribe, not for the algorithm, but for solidarity. It tells the platform that people like us are here and paying attention. Now, let's look at the ordinary choices that quietly shape your energy curve. What's easiest to grab is engineered for speed, shelf life, and repeat purchase. You don't need a moral lecture to see the pattern. The most convenient options create a rhythm of spike and dip. When the baseline is a roller coaster, stability feels mythical. Convenience saves minutes and often spends hours of afternoon focus. Our spaces are built for sitting. Desks, cars, couches, elevators, delivery on the doorstep. Stillness is the default. Movement must be scheduled. The body idles while the mind revs. Idling and revving at the same time is exhausting. This isn't about becoming an athlete. It's recognizing the infrastructure rewards stillness while asking your brain to stay on. When you pair convenience rhythms with a sedentary layout and a mentally noisy day, you reach evening feeling used up by invisible things. Money uncertainty turns up the drain even more. You don't have to be in crisis to carry crisis math. Rent, prices, interest, layoffs, headlines like weather. What if runs in the background while you attempt normal tasks. Background math steals foreground energy. Then there's the status treadmill. Comparison used to be occasional. Now it's ambient. Feeds serve highlight reels from strangers and colleagues. The message, be more. Be more is a moving target. You don't reach it, you chase it. Chasing drains because the finish line shifts as you approach. Layer on positivity theater, the pressure to perform cheerfulness no matter the strain. Performance adds a second job. Act fine while carrying the weight. Doing work and performance at once burns fuel twice as fast. Just think positive often denies friction. Denied friction doesn't disappear, it compounds. Let's get practical about the everyday mechanics of that compounding. Modern days are made of micro-choices: clothes, routes, apps, settings, notifications, tone, timing, wording. Each decision is small. Together they form a tax. You pay in irritability, hesitation, and avoidance. Avoidance generates guilt. Guilt is expensive. The world leaves loops open, unread messages, half-done docs, unsorted photos. I owe a reply. Your brain tracks dangling threads by design. Tracking is effort. You feel it at night when you're done but still buzzing, as if the day is calling from the other room. And the rest we reach for. Infinite scroll that asks for micro-reactions. Laugh, save, react, repeat. Micro-reactions keep you slightly on. Slightly on for hours adds up, and the bill arrives in the morning. If saying yes to everything is the problem, why is saying no so hard? Availability gets confused with value. Teams reward visible busyness more than invisible focus. Leaders praise responsiveness more than results. When the safest career move is to be always reachable, people trade energy for signaling. The performance becomes culture. Culture becomes expectation. Saying no starts to feel dangerous even when it's necessary. Boundaries cost something up front: awkward moments, new habits, honest trade-offs. But boundaries pay back later. They aren't walls. They're gates with handles on your side. Open when it matters, close when it doesn't. The point isn't being difficult. It's refusing to make exhaustion a lifestyle. When one person models a calm no, others breathe. Teams relearn that attention is scarce and outcomes are what count. Design gets better, meaning returns. Better isn't a hack. It's a different arrangement of the same pieces: fewer interruptions, clearer goals, real off time that's respected, work judged by outcomes instead of green dots, decisions made asynchronously by default, and attention treated like the battery that powers everything else. You won't get that by accident. You get it when people decide the current arrangement spends them in ways they can't afford. You decline a meeting and write a crisp memo. You mute a channel and establish office hours. You define urgency so the word means something again. You close loops daily so the night can be quiet. These are ordinary moves that create extraordinary relief. Evenings feel like yours. Mornings feel like arrivals instead of recoveries. Here's the bigger truth: modern systems monetize attention, availability, and compliance. Fatigue makes all three easier to harvest. The fog you feel isn't imaginary. It's engineered friction. Naming it won't fix everything tomorrow, but it changes your aim today. You stop trying to become a superhuman inside a bad design and start building a humane design around a human. If this resonated, you're exactly who Fog of Work is for. Tell me in the comments which part of the machinery drains you most: the calendar confetti, the context switching, the urgency theater, the status treadmill, or something else entirely. I always review every comment. If you want more like this, subscribe, then watch another Fog of Work video. Different topic, same mission. Less fog, more life. Piece by careful piece, take your energy back from a world that spends it by default.